Hi everyone, welcome back to another episode of Corey's Crafting Corner. Today we're going to be doing a little bit of paper mache because I like to get messy. So there are a couple different ways to do this. The method I'm using just uses warm water and flour. I dried mine outside and that seemed to be okay, but you may want to add a little bit of salt to your mixture just to prevent any mold from growing. I found that when I did it, I let it dry outside, it dried solid, it was good. If you are worried about raw flour and hands and mouth, you can use white glue and just dilute it down a little bit, or there's a recipe for cooked flour, which I have not tried yet. So I'm just mixing up a little batch because I'm just going to walk you through the process. So I have a little bit of flour in my bowl and a little bit of water. It should be cold enough that you can touch it, but it should still be pretty warm. And I'm just going to start, I believe it's about 2 parts water to 1 part flour. And this part will be easier if you use a whisk. But I am just using a popsicle. And you really want to kind of beat it up. Much water. Kind of want to try to get all the clumps out. And see, this is looking a little bit too wet. You want something a little more like glue and less like pancake batter. So I'm just going to add a little bit more flour to this. Don't want to pour the mixing cup in there. And just as you can see, everything has a layer of newspaper on it because I don't want to make a mess. This is a pretty messy process. That's looking pretty good. And so mixing flour and water really is just making this for any household crafting glue project. We can take, so I just took some newspaper and just ripped it into strips. I'll show you really quickly how I do that. Very simply, you take your newspaper. It can be any newspaper or any paper really. I don't suggest using the glossy ads. Take it, just rip it down. They don't have to be even, they don't have to be pretty, they just have to be in manageable strips. So, if you are like me, and you're allergic to latex, you might want to use gloves if you're using a balloon. You don't have to use a balloon. I've laid out some supplies over here next to me. You can use just about anything you can find. That does not have to be reused. To be clear, this is a very, very sticky process. Don't want to use anything too precious. So normally, I would put this balloon in this pot. Hold it. This pot, you know what, I think it'll work. If we pop a balloon, I've got a spare thanks to the magnificent Cody. Okay, so you're just going to take your strips, you want them in a manageable size. You're going to dip them in your water. If you want, you can kind of scrunch them up a little bit. And then you're going to want to squeeze some of this excess off. So I just take it in between 2 fingers. Just squeeze the rest out. Like that. And then you're just going to take your strip and lay it over whatever you're trying to paper mache. I want to smooth it down a little bit. And you can see the pot is keeping it from kind of rolling all around while I'm trying to do this. So in the example that I will show you in just a minute, it took about 2 layers and I did let it dry in between. And the sun did a marvelous job in drying it out. I don't know how long it would take if you can't leave it outside. Maybe someone can inform you. You can even take some bigger strips, so this is just the edge piece that didn't get ripped in half. You can use big strips like this. You just want to make sure that the paper mache glue stuff has worked its way into the paper. So I'm just going to keep going like this until the balloon is mostly covered. And that's when I would set it outside to dry, and then I would add another layer after that. Even if the piece is ripped, just use smaller pieces. But I think you guys probably have a pretty good idea of how to put the paper mache on the balloon. So we can move on to the next step. So once your balloon has dried, and again, you don't have to use balloons for this, I'll show you in a minute other supplies you can use. So you can see it's pretty hard, pretty stable, which is what I want. So you're going to take the balloon, and you have to get the balloon out of here. So I'm going to make a little tiny cut right at the base where the rubber is the thickest. So hopefully it doesn't just explode in my face. Perfect, that's exactly what I wanted. So you can see as it deflates, it starts to pull away. Just a little more help. Looks like it's still sticking to the bottom in there. It's okay. Just go ahead and grab it on out. And then you have your empty form. So I was originally thinking I wanted to make this into a bowl. Thumbs up now. So to make it sit flat on the bottom, I'm just going to take another couple of strips to do this. And as I did some detail on the other ones, I'm just going to kind of twirl it around and stick it on so that it's not quite flat. So now when this dries, you can build it up a little bit more than this. It'll have a flat surface to sit on. But I just wanted to show you how to do that. See, now it's not rolling around. And then I wanted to show you, I'm actually going to use some of the tie-dye paper from another video to decorate my bowl. Same method, I'm just going to rip it into strips. This isn't going to rip as neatly, but that's okay, because I'm going for tie-dye. Dip it in my paper mache. And we just slap it on there. I want to smooth it down a little bit. Maybe cover the edge of it. Doesn't that look cool? I was just inspired this morning to do the bowl with the tie-dye paper. And I think when it's done, it's gonna look super cool. So I did run out of glue, but that's okay. I just wanted to show you what it would look like kind of when the whole thing is covered. And I think that looks pretty cool. But if you don't have balloons, can't use balloons, I wanted to show you something that I made just out of stuff you would have lying around your house. So this is just a cereal box, half of a soda can box, like a 12-pack, a couple straws and some paper towel tubes. I think he looks pretty nifty, but you could use egg cartons, boxes, toilet paper, paper towel tubes. These are straws. I just gave him a little bling as well. You can use anything you can find around the house that you are allowed to destroy. Make sure you're not covering, couches, lamps without permission. Got it? So yeah, this is paper mache. I hope that you guys try it and have some messy fun with me. And I'll see you next time.